Hello, everyone. Welcome back to class. All right, so why don't someone volunteer to tell me what you have learned in the past month, as well as what your homework was from last week? So, does anyone remember what the homework was from last week? Anyone? So, you can just share what you've done, what your homework was from last week, or maybe what you've learned from last week. Maybe Serena, were you here last week? Or Allison, or Jinyi, Brady, Charlie, any of you? So you can type it in the group chat what the homework was from last week, or you can answer out loud. Does anyone remember? Any volunteers? Brady? Really? No one? I'm sure some of you were here from last week, if any of you remember the homework, or maybe what you've learned. What about Jinyi? Were you here last week? Or Wesley, since you just joined, were you here last week? If you were, could you let me know what the homework was?
Oh, sorry, I'm not on the last week.
Ah, okay, that's okay. Thank you, Wesley, for letting me know. What about anyone else? Was anyone else here last week?
你不用来回国，有事飞这儿。
Okay, thank you, Allison. So Allison also wasn't here. Okay, so it seems like maybe some people weren't here and didn't get the homework. Okay, you got replacement. Okay, do you remember what the homework? Did they give you a homework from last week? Okay, Serena, thank you. You were here but forgot what the homework was. Okay, that's okay. All right, so if we don't know what the homework was, we can just move on to today's lesson then. All right, so continuing on to the next part. So I guess some of you can mention maybe what you've done for Mother's Day, or since Father's Day is coming up, or I think might have even passed, you can also talk about what you're planning on doing or what you did for Father's Day, if not Mother's Day. Okay. So I'll have everyone go in order and you can just answer out loud. So this one is just a verbal answer. All right, so let's start off with Serena, do you want to go first?
Uh, wait, what do you mean?
So since Father's Day is, I believe, in June, so it's maybe coming up, you can either answer what you've done or will do for Father's Day, or you can answer for Mother's Day. So it's up to you which one you want to answer.
I can do Mother's Day.
Okay, yeah.
I wrote my mom a card and I bought her something.
Oh, what did you buy?
Flowers.
Ah, that's very nice. Okay, good job, Serena. Next up, Wesley, what did you do for either Mother's Day or planning on doing for Father's Day?
Uh, I I choose Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I will do a card for my father.
Ah, that's very nice. Will you be maybe making something for your father, such as breakfast, or maybe getting him a gift, or just a card?
Just a card.
Just a
Um,
card. Mm. All right, nice to hear, Wesley. And next up, Allison, what would you be doing for Father's Day or maybe for Mother's Day?
I chose Mother's Day, so I celebrate Mother's Day by writing a card and give her a present, like for the book.
Ah, that's so nice. So a card and present and a book. Very nice. Something that I hope she enjoys. All right, next up, Jinyi. So you can answer what you did for Mother's Day or what you plan on doing for Father's Day. So Father's Day is on June 15th. If you're in Canada or US, that would be the date for Father's Day. So you can answer if you want to do Mother's Day or Father's Day for Jinyi.
Father's Day.
Okay, so what did you do or will do for Father's Day?
I will buy him a cake.
Oh, what kind of cake?
Chocolate.
Ah, that's really good. Is chocolate his favorite flavor?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Nicely done, Jinny. So yes, when getting gifts for people, you always want to have that person in mind. So what would they like? What would they appreciate? Or what is something that they will commonly use? Just so that your gift is more meaningful when you give it to them. All right, next up, Charlie. You can answer what you did for Mother's Day or what you will do for Father's Day. Okay, your mic doesn't work. Okay, so Charlie, you can type up your answer right now, and I'll just have Brady answer in the meantime. So, Brady, you can answer for Father's Day or for Mother's Day.
I'll answer for Father's Day. I'll probably make a card and like throw a surprise um like giving I know that my dad likes pickleball, so maybe I'll give him like some new pickleballs.
Ah, that's interesting. Really good. I like that you've noticed his interest, Brady. So getting something relevant to his interest. You could even do or play a game of pickleball with him on that day, since, he really likes pickleball. But yeah, that sounds really good. Okay, so back to Charlie now. So Charlie, if you've already typed up a little brief answer, you can share that with the class. Okay, so Mother's Day, he would ask his art teacher to help him draw a picture and give his mother a card. Ah, nicely done. Yes. I think that is most important, having a card, because even if you don't have money and you can't buy a present, just putting in time to create something is very meaningful as well. All right, nicely done, everyone. Okay, so moving on to the next part now, going on to today's lesson, we're going to learn about well, not here, but rather we can do first a recommended book and author. So, the recommended book that I have is called A Strange Thing Happened in Cherry Hall by Jasmine Warga, and it also has some illustrations by Matt Rockefeller. Okay, so for the first half over here, I will get Jinyi, can you read out loud over here?
From the award-winning New York Times best-selling author of A Rover Story and Other Words for Home comes an extraordinary story about two friends, a ghost, a missing painting, and a turtle named Agatha. The perfect next read for fans of the Swifts, Kate DeCamillo, and Erin and Trada Kelly. A painting has been stolen. When Rami sees a floating girl in the museum, he knows he has seen her somewhere before. Then he realized she looks just like the girl in the painting that has gone missing. But how does her appearance connect to the thief?
Nicely done, Ginny. So just one little tip here is this last word would be theft. So this is saying someone has stolen something, that would be a theft. But if you're talking about a noun or the person who's stealing something, that person would be thief. So thief. All right, so next part that we have up for this bottom part, can I get Allison to read out loud?
Agatha the turtle knows she has been watching from the garden, but she can't exactly tell anyone, can she? Will Rami, with the help of his classmate Benda, be able to solve the mystery? The clues are all around them, but they'll have to be brave enough to really look. This is a whimsical moving story about the universal desire to be seen and understood, and how art can help us find connection even when we are at our loneliest.
Yes, great job, Allison. So good reading pace. You're going at a great pace. I would just say again, be sure to have good diction. So mystery or understood. So try to pronounce like the ending and beginning of words. All right, great job. So moving on to the about the author here. So for this whole paragraph, can I get Serena to read out loud?
Jasmine Margaret is a writer from Cincinnati, Ohio, who currently resides in Chicago, Illinois. She is the internationally best-selling author of My Heart and Other Black Holes, and Here We Are Now. Her books have been published in over 25 countries and optioned for film. Her debut middle grade novel, Other Words for Home, will be published in spring 2019. Jasmine lives in an apartment filled with books with her husband, two tiny daughters, large dog, and mischievous cat.
Nicely done, Serena. Good pronunciation, good reading pace, and also good job on some hard words to pronounce, such as Cincinnati, since this is a name and people might not be used to it. So, yes, nicely done. All right, so moving on to the vocab words that I have here. So I have three words. First word being destiny, that's the noun, defined as the events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or thing in the future. So basically, destiny is saying that there's events or certain events that will for sure happen to either a person or a place or just sometime in the future. And also, they use it as a noun to describe some sort of power that's believed to control future events, such as fate or destiny. Sometimes they think of it as like a person, or some people just think of it kind of like a just a power, just an energy. So, example sentence shown here, she was unable to control her own destiny, or he believed in destiny. All right, so next word that we have is interchangeable, and it's an adjective meaning that for two things you can interchange it or switch between them because they're really similar or they appear identical. So that means that they are interchangeable in their use or in their appearance. Here are some example sentence. Eyepieces are interchangeable and one can use any eyepiece with any telescope. So for those that don't know what a telescope is, it's used kind of like as a magnifying glass to look at stars like this. These are telescopes. Okay, so coming back to the last word over here, superior. that could be defined as an adjective or also a noun. So if it's defined as an adjective, you're describing someone who is higher in rank, status, or quality. So it could be a person or it could also be an item. As well, it means that this thing or person has or shows an overly high opinion of oneself, so conceited, thinks highly of themselves, and sometimes they also put themselves above others. They think they are superior to others. Or you can use it as a noun, and this is referring to a person who is superior to another, as in higher up in rank or status. And this is especially true for maybe in a work position. Okay, so colleague meaning a workmate. And an example sentence over here, that girl was frightfully superior. Or they were obeying their superior's orders. All right, so coming to the writing section, you can answer if you believe in destiny or fate. Do you think this is real or fake? As well as define or give your opinion as to what you think of it. And answer with details and supporting facts. So maybe you've read somewhere or maybe from your personal experience. So include these in your writing when describing whether you think it's real or fake. Okay, so I'm going to put this all into the group chat as well as the vocab words. Okay, so I'll give everyone 5 minutes. 5 minutes and then try to aim for at least 4 to 5 sentences. Aim for more if you can and be descriptive. All right, I'll give everyone some time now. All right, so 5 minutes have passed. If everyone has their writing done and ready, you can send it into the group chat. Okay, thank you, Allison. So I'll add in your writing into these slides, as well as Wesley and Brady. Thank you for adding in your sentences. Okay, so for Allison, okay, so you're saying it might be real for this reason here. And this reason, when you say for this reason, usually in writing, we would probably put this at the end after you've given the reason rather than before you've given the reason, just because when you're reading it, people go, it might be real for this reason, and then they might think, oh, was the reason mentioned in previous text? So usually people might put this at the very end after you've given the reason. So just a little rearranging of the order of sentences here. But continuing on, okay, so I think maybe having some clear explanation or sentences would be really good. So when you say getting the lost island, I'm unsure of what you mean for getting the lost island. So do you mean someone finding a lost island or buying a lost island?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe you can make it more clear, like you think because it is good. Some people think destiny is real because um we can separate it into different sentences here. Let's say because it is good, or some people think destiny is real just because they believe in something. And then you can say such as getting or getting the lost island. So I would just say you can't say the lost island because this is not an actual place or item. So rather you can say they're getting, you could just say an island. Um and then usually not getting, but maybe purchasing or buying, because when it says getting, it seems like, oh, maybe there is no money involved. But of course, if you actually want to get an island, usually those are really, really rich people, so we'll say buying an island. Um, and they eventually got enough money to buy one. Okay. So here, that would be one sentence where it makes a bit more sense and destiny happening, as in they believe in something and that has actually come true. So maybe that reinforces their belief that, okay, destiny and fate is real. And then you can say it is good for making not the person because you're not referring to any specific person, so you have to say a person. But if you're referring to a specific person, then you can use the. For example, if you mention my teacher or my mother, then you can say the if you're referring back to that person. Um, So also for here, which the character wants that person to do, again, you can't say character because you haven't referenced or referred to a character in your previous sentences. So as a reader, you're reading this and you're not sure who is this character or what is this character. So instead, you have to say maybe something in general, just as forcing people to do something which they want to do or don't want to do. Maybe if you're forcing someone, usually it's something that they don't want to do, so which they don't want to do. So that could be, for example, if that person believes in destiny, they think, oh, maybe if I'm really nice to everyone, I will get a lot of money. Maybe they are thinking something like that. Okay, so for Brady, oh, okay, so there is no changing the future. Oh, I like how you did interchangeable and superior. Nicely done using those vocab words. And then you can even say a comma here, just because you have a little bit of a separate idea connecting to here, so you can use a comma. And again, anytime you're having an if statement, you will always have to include a comma. Oh, nicely done, Brady. Good explanation. I like how you had clear thoughts and clear facts to back up your opinion. Okay, so for Wesley, so here we can just cut out the destiny and just say destiny because it's on its own, could be a noun, controlled by yourself. This destiny is fake. Okay, nicely done, Wesley. I like how you gave an explanation. I would even say you can add in more details to support why destiny isn't true or why destiny isn't real. You can say some real life examples like, um, my friend really believed that if she was good or if she was um, able to catch a snowflake on the palm of her hand, that for sure her birthday will have snow falling or something like that. So you can use an example, a real life example, to showcase why you also don't believe in destiny or fate. Okay, so adding in for Serena's answer as well as Jesse's answer. Okay, so Serena, I don't believe in destiny or fate. Okay, good first sentence. And I like how you gave a supporting answer and evidence as well. So your example here, nicely done. Okay, great answer, Serena. Very good job. Looking at Jesse's over here. Oh, so here you say the thing will be better. So you can't say the thing because you haven't mentioned this thing in your previous sentences. So as a reader, you would be lost as to what you are trying to say. What is this thing? Are you referring to fate or is it something else? So instead, you can say, I think if you do your best, maybe just things will be better. If you're just talking about things such as very vague, very general events or just life in general will be better. So some people just say things will be better. Okay, so you believe this story is real. So maybe you're referring back to the book. review or book overview. So here you can be more specific with your answer and say, let's also say instead of and, since oftentimes and seems like incomplete when you use it as the first word in a sentence, you can use some other transition words to refer to a like connecting point or connecting sentence, such as also or additionally or furthermore. So these are just some examples you can use to refer to say instead of and. I believe this books. Okay. Are we missing anyone's? I think some people still haven't sent in their answers yet. Thank you, Jinyi. And here, since you're using a comma, it doesn't quite make sense over here just because these are two separate sentences, so you can't just connect them together with a comma. Instead, you can say, I don't think it's real because you can't change the future. Like how you can't change the past. Great job, Ginny. I like how you also use an example over here that yes, you can't change the past. There's no time traveling, there's no going backwards in time or having redos. All right. So, has everyone answered? I think we are still missing one more person who hasn't answered yet. Okay, so I think we'll just move on for now since it seems like majority of us have answered. So moving on to the next part, let's do a quick narrative writing. So we're going to do a lesson. So we're going to be talking about sequencing, as in sequencing events. So what is story sequence? So story sequence is the order in which events take place in a narrative. So in simplest terms, sequencing a story means that you're identifying the main narrative components, the beginning, middle, and end, as the first step towards retelling the events of the story in logical order. So oftentimes, you're going to use sequencing to put things in order. So from events that have happened, if you're retelling of something that happened in the past, so you're having to list it out from first to last, and you don't want to mix it up because then the reader would get confused and also the story wouldn't make sense. Okay, so why do we need to have sequencing? Just like I mentioned, it's to make it so that there's no confusion, so that people can follow along with the story, and it helps the reader understand the text. So this is very important for difficult or scientific text, also very important for history. If you mix up the order of history, people wouldn't understand why this event led to this event or why this event happened and so if you're having a good sequence of events, they would be like, oh, World War II happened because of this decision made by this person that led to this decision, that led to this event, and so on. So that's why it's very important to have good sequencing of events, as well as for storytelling. So just like how I mentioned, you're building narration, you're having a climax and conclusion. So you need a good sequencing of events in order to build up to a climax. If you don't have a good sequencing of events, people are going to be lost and confused and not understand the ending and why you got to that conclusion. All right, so here is an example passage that I have. So can I get Brady, can you read out loud this paragraph here?
Sally went on a walk with her dog. She stopped by the ice cream shop on her way out. Then She went to a dog park where her dog played around and rolled in mud. Sally knew her mother didn't want the dog to roll in mud as it was a hassle to clean off. So Sally quickly raced home to get there before her mom arrived there from work. First, she first turned on the faucet and filled the bathtub with water. Next, she added in the shampoo. Finally, she put her dog into the bath and started vigorously rubbing him all over to get the mud out of her fur. Eventually, she got him all showered and dried off when her mom came home.
Nicely done, Brady. Okay, so now everyone, you can identify areas of sequencing. So in this passage, what are some areas of sequencing? You can also list them out. So maybe you can list out like 3 events that have happened. Maybe Wesley, since you didn't get a chance to read yet, you can answer what are the areas of sequencing? So what are the 3 events that have taken place in this story? Wesley, are you able to identify the 3 events that have happened?
The first place is ice cream shop. This second place is the dog park.
Mm-hmm.
The third place is uh home.
Yes, great job, Wesley. Okay, so we've identified the 3 areas that she went by in order of um, history of her timeline. So first went to the ice cream shop, and then to the dog park, and lastly to home. Yes. And you can even write about the order of her bathing of the dog. So you have the sequence of orders over here. For first, turned on the water, filled up the bathtub, then added in the shampoo. And then lastly, washed out the dog in the bath. All right, so what are some transition words that are used in this paragraph? So anyone can answer? Okay, thank you, Serena. Yes. Then, next, finally, and eventually. Those are all transition words that were used. And these are all words that are used to connect from one idea or one sentence, or in this case, one order of event, to the next order of event. As well as here, it should have a comma as well. Okay, so now on to the examples of transition words over here. So these are words that are used to connect one event to another. It keeps the flow of the story or paragraph. And over here are some examples of transition words that you would use to describe series of events or series of things. So anything that's starting with first, you can say to start with, or to begin, or one day, or it all began, as well as then you're going on to the next connecting word or next connecting event. You can then say secondly, or afterwards, or after a while, later that day, suddenly. Can anyone think of other first transition words for something happening in the first place? So any additional transition words anyone can think of? Oh, yes, Jesse.
Once upon a time.
Oh, that's a good one. Once upon a time, yes. Okay. What about for next? Can anyone think of any additional words? Any additional transition words for next? Oh, in the beginning, yes, that's a good one. So again, part of the verse for transition words. And then also for second, nicely done, Allison. Okay, so after that, that's true. All right. Anything else? Can anyone think of some other transition words? So next and then, these ones are kind of interchangeable because these are referring to events that have happened after your first event. So kind of like the in the middle part. So that's why next, the transition words used in next can also be, of course, used for then. But this is more like if you have maybe four order of events, then your middle has two parts or maybe three parts. So then you can't keep saying like secondly, 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 right? So you'd have to do in order like secondly, thirdly, fourthly. But also, usually we don't keep going past third or secondly. Usually people just end it at secondly just because it doesn't sound as good to say fourthly or fifthly. So then instead people just say just secondly, and after secondly it might be and finally or lastly. Okay, so any other transition words you can think of to add to over here? Yes, thirdly. Okay, Jinny, that's good. So we can put that under then. What about for last? So we have finally, at last. As you can see, it all comes down to any other transition words you can think of for an ending sentence or ending of events? Okay, so one example I can think of is, let me just make this a bit smaller. So we have space. You can put down, oh, end. So end isn't a good transition word because you can't start a sentence with end because, well, what are you ending? So that doesn't make sense as the first word of a sentence. So good try, Jinyi. You can say for last, like to conclude. And you can maybe even say, so we have finally, at last, as you can see, it all comes down to, yes, in conclusion. Good one, Jinyi and Allison. Okay. So these are just some examples of transition words. So coming on to the next part, let's do a practice. So we have lightning and thunder here. So here, can I get, again, we'll start with Serena, you can read the first paragraph.
Long ago, people made up myths and legends to explain what causes lightning and thunder. Having an explanation for something can make it less frightening. Lightning and thunder can be very frightening, especially because they often happen just before a big rainstorm.
Nicely done, Serena. Good reading pace, good pronunciation. Okay, next paragraph. Charlie, are you able to read? Is your microphone working? No? Okay. That's okay. I'll move on to Wesley then. You can read out loud this paragraph.
We now know what causes lightning and thunder. Have you ever noticed that you often hear thunder just a few seconds after you see lightning? It's because it is lightning that causes thunder. If the storm is far away from you, there's a few seconds between the lightning and the thunder. If the storm is close to you, you hear the thunder almost at the same time as you see the lightning.
Yes, great job, Wesley. So also just a little tip would be lightning. Remember to pronounce the N in the middle here. So not just lighting, but lightning. All right, nicely done. Good pronunciation and reading pace. So continuing on, can I get Jessie? Since you haven't read, I'll have you read these two paragraphs. Jessie?
Lightning is caused by electricity building up inside a cloud. When a large mass of warm air and a large mass of cold air come together high above the earth, it causes a lot of movement in the air. The cold air moves down while the warm air moves up, which creates something like friction. An electric charge builds up in the clouds. The charge gets stronger and stronger until it explodes, and the lightning flashes. When the lightning flashes, the air around it becomes unbearably hot, 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. The heated air expands into the cooler air around it, causing the shockwave that we call thunder.
Nicely done, Jessie. Good reading pace and clear voice. So just some words to be careful of includes electricity. So just be careful of the diction, pronunciation for that, as well as electric. So just remember the C in the middle to pronounce that. As well for unbelievably. So very good try pronouncing this one. So it's just unbelievably. All right. Next up that we have, oh, Jinyi says lightning is light and thunder is sound. Light is faster than sound. Ah, okay. Thank you, Jinyi. All right, so last paragraph over here. Can I get, Jinyi, can you read out loud over here?
Even though we usually see lightning before we hear the thunder that it causes, the two events happen just a fraction of a second apart. In addition, both light and sound travel through the air in waves. However, light waves travel faster than sound waves, so light waves from the explosion get to us first.
Yes, great job, Jinyi. So good pronunciation, good reading pace, and clear voice. So just one little advice would be for lightning over here. Try not to pronounce it into 3 syllables. So here it's just lightning. Don't do lightning. So try not to pronounce it like there's an E here. Okay, so 2 syllable word lightning as well. Good job for reading pace. Okay, last paragraph over here. Can I get Allison to read out loud?
That similar to lightning and thunder can happen when you brush your feet along a carpet and then touch a doorknob. You can sometimes hear a little sizzle of mini thunder and see the flash of mini lightning.
Yes, good job, Allison. So I like how you increase or you improved upon your diction. So continue doing so and good reading pace and clear voice. All right, so that comes to the end of this story. So on to the practice now. We're going to number 1s through 6 for these series of events to show which happens first to last for the cause of lightning and thunder. Okay, so here I can give everyone some time to think of the order of events, and then we're going to say them out loud or say the number out loud. So if you want to type it out or write on a piece of paper, what is the order of events from each one? So I'll give everyone just maybe 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes to look it over. Okay, so is everyone ready now? All right, so let me just quickly go over through each event and we'll number or we'll say out loud or type in the group chat which number of event this one is. Okay, so let me just get my screen ready. Okay, so oh, wait, sorry. Seems like my computer is having some difficulties. Okay, so I think now it's working, my screen sharing. All right, starting with let's do first event over here. Friction created by air movement creates an electric charge. Or maybe who wants to order which one is number one? We can find which event is number one. Yes, Wesley.
I think the second one is the first.
Large mass of air and large mass of cold air come together. Yes, that is correct. Does everyone else agree? Oh, all right. So I'll take that as agreement since no one is saying no. All right. So number two, let's identify which one is the second. Oh, thank you, Jinny. You agreed. Which one is the second order of event? Yes, Jesse.
I think number 4 is the second one.
So the fourth one over here. Yes, cold air moving down, warm air moving up creates something like friction. That is correct. Does everyone else agree? All right, so number three now. Let's identify which event is the third one. Wesley?
I think the first one is the third.
Yes, exactly. So we know already it's talking about the air movements as we talked about warm air and cold air, as well as friction. Oh, I see everyone. Some people have already listed out the order of events. Okay, so yes, crash of thunder
这上面课一模一
or
样吗？
差不多。
一样
后面
的。
不一样。
你敢不敢跟老师说？
okay, Jinyi, you have your hand raised.
嗯，
Up, Jinyi.
Number 6 is number 4.
Okay, so here you're saying number six over here is number four. That's correct, yes. Okay, we've got two more. Which one is number five? Is it flash of lightning or hearing a crash of thunder first? Oh,
Flash of lightning.
flash of lightning. Okay, yes. Exactly, because remember, it says that we see the lightning before we hear the lightning, just because light travels faster than sound. All right, nicely done. So we've put the sequence of events nicely done together. And then also an extra bonus question is, what is something else that can cause a flash of electricity? Okay, Jinyi, yes?
Friction.
Friction, yes. Friction, any specific friction between Any specific items or any specific compounds? Okay, so another example is static electricity. Carpet and sock, yes. Carpet and sock. You can also do balloon and head. So if you rub a balloon against your head, that will cause static electricity, and so your hair might start to float. If you have long strands of hair, you might see it starting to float up. All right, so good examples given for static electricity and for flash of electricity that can be seen. So now that we're at the end of class, I'll go to the homework now. So for homework, you're going to answer a report on a book, movie, or show that you've read or write, and you're going to order the sequence of events. So you're going to give a summary with the sequence of events. So you can either answer it kind of like in a note form where you answer 1, 2, 3, 4, like how we did in that table of events, or you can also answer it as a story, as a summary. So if you're writing it as a summary, you're going to use transition words such as then or initially or to conclude. So these are just some examples of transition words you'll use in your summary. Okay, so be creative in your writing when you're writing the sequence of events. Try not to say it word for word exactly the same if it's from a book or from an overview or synopsis. Okay. All right, so iPad is hot. All right, that's okay. We're at the end of class. I'll stop sharing here and let you all enjoy the rest of your weekend as well as Father's Day on Sunday. Okay, so I'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye
If you have any questions, you can let me know.
bye.
Bye. See you all
Uh,
next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
teacher,
Yes.
do if I do the summary, I just do it in words or just put it in like such as mm,
Oh, okay.
in
So let
some.
me share my screen to show you back. So you can also write it as, if you want to, you can write it as how we did as a table. Let me just pull up that table. Okay, so we're having it, if you're writing it like here, you can write it as a summary where you're using transition words such as next and finally, or you can answer it like how we did for the box over here where we read that story about thunder and lightning, and you can just order it like 1, this event happened, or number 2, this event happened. So it's up to you which one you want to do. Of course, this one is easier. So if you're doing this one, you can do it as the starting place, and then afterwards, you can then write in a paragraph as over here. And then you can change it into a paragraph like here. So using transition words to create your summary.
So the story or the movie that I can choose, not
Yes, you can
or
choose.
you.
So any book,
Okay.
movie, or show that you've read or watched, you can write sequence of events for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye bye.
All right, bye. I will see you next week. Bye.